Hi, my name is Kevin and I really hate overly long intros on YouTube. Nice to meet you. Chances are, if you are watching this, you are familiar with the Breakdown series. In case you're not, the playlist will be in the description. Either way, welcome. There's gonna be some more solo tips and solo mistakes in this one. We start off with a really interesting scenario which happened during a really interesting live stream over at twitch.tv/crashed, Monday through Saturday. Come check it out. We have just entered the west wing of the resort and we are pretty late here, so big chance we are not the first. I enter one of the rooms and listen if I can hear anyone upstairs. Oh, the dude running. I don't know if he was behind me. Before we move on, we want to make sure that we're not being chased and about to be shot in the back. So we peek out the window to make sure that the running did not come from outside. Maybe upstairs. Yeah. Next, we check West Wing room 104, which spawns closed and needs a key to open. You will find the blue lab card that spawns in here. It's been opened, so this is our confirmation that there's someone ahead of us. So instead of going up the staircase directly on the left, where we entered the west wing before room 104, I push all the way alongside the ground floor for the other staircase. So if there's someone there, we might be able to cut them off instead of just following in behind them and getting ambushed. West wing middle floor, where we are on now, is the most high traffic area in this place. Especially this bit behind the barbed wire, where there are a couple of rooms that spawn really expensive items. If our guy is still there, we will most likely hear him when he jumps the barbed wire. But I want to gauge how far this guy is already ahead of us. So let's follow on and check West Wing room 301 upstairs. This is another highly visited room because of its LEDX spawn. It's an item that's worth about 1.4 million rubles on the market currently. The door is still locked, so this is another clue in pinpointing our enemy location. They either have not come through here yet, or they did not have the key and are already moved on to the east wing. But this is unlikely so far into the wipe. So we loot 301, there was nothing special in there by the way. And we move back to the middle floor towards the barbed wire. We now know the chance is very big our guy is still here with us. I warped through the hole in the wall because I'm not a fan of walking downstairs. Walking downstairs exposes your legs long before you can even see the enemy. So I'd rather go for a more loud and sudden approach. As we move to the barbed wire, we spotted that hatchling. This is why I make a really bad guess. I think we are in the clear and this guy may be disconnected from the game. This unfortunately still happens and we can only hope it gets patched. So we jump the barbed wire and are greeted by a hail of bullets coming from the other side. Oh no, he's dead. And there you go. We have just given away all of the initiative, advantage, the information and the control of the area in one simple step. Making a bad call. We are now in a really bad position and we don't have really any room to move. We tossed a grenade to keep the enemy at bay for now. Buy some time to come up with something. As always, painkiller up. This is a really bad position. The first nade is a warning. This room we're in now only has one entrance and exit. So if the second nade lands inside this room, it's gonna be a single way ticket back to Lumbridge. So we push out and we get some suppressive shots off. Our only priority now is to get the hell out of the situation we've tossed ourselves in. Staying alive is all that matters right now. Killing the enemy will come later. First, we have to get to safety. Make note of this wooden barrier which helps to conceal. This is different from providing cover. You can still get shot through this. We move perpendicular to it, back over the barbed wire to conceal our movement the best we can. I'm not sure if he noticed the reposition, so as we see if he pushes up, thinking we are stuck in the room, we can hear running. Coming towards. I'm not sure what to make of it. It could be our guy charging towards us. But it sounds like it's coming from the back. It also could be his friend flanking underneath. But why would you be so loud about it? I doubt that's it. And I know our guy is still in front of us from the nade he threw. So I want to keep my eyes on him. But the steps are getting closer. And closer. Good. This is another bad call on me. What the f... I thought I heard him run behind me, but... Like, I don't... After suffering massive damage, lucky to still be alive, we heal back up the vitals in a room close. This is still really bad positioning, albeit a little bit better than the first room. This one at least has a balcony we can jump off when we must. He's tossing nades, so I'm expecting a push. He just announced to us that he's still in the same location and not flanking. So we listen if we can hear him jump and make the push ourselves when we have 100% confirmation of where he's gonna be. But he doesn't, so we make the push anyway. We toss another grenade to keep him at bay. And I make another mistake here by peeking and looking for a fight at this moment. Remember, we are still very badly hurt and not in the best shape for a fight. This is already better positioning. A sneaky angle through the hole. We have the verticality and our enemy has not seen us move here. We could also have gone to the ground floor and flanked there. But we still have to get plenty of heals in. This is at least a way less high traffic area to be in than the floor below. And from this place we can also hear it if he makes the jump over the wire. So we try to listen out in between heals for any movement. A little bit, but I don't think this guy is pushing or he's going all the way around because I'm not hearing the jump. So far we haven't heard anything, and after doing one last checkup, mags are filled, health is good, etc. we move back down again. We've been out of this fight for quite some time, and listening in between medding is not 100%. So we have to be really on our guard again. All we know so far is our guy has not moved over the barbed wire, but he has had plenty of time to move on the ground floor. So we take the stairs this time to not alert him to our location. For the sake of time, we jump cut 2 minutes into the future. We have been listening out after a third party came up the stairs towards our nade throwing friend, and he finally decided to jump the wire. This is our go time. Wow. Now we know his exact whereabouts and we have him pinned down in a room. We pre-fire when coming around the corner as we start clearing.
По-русски, блядь, говори! По-русски!
See one the man, GG dude. Dude, that was such a long engagement with so many third parties and stuff. I was the guy who started shooting when I jumped the barbed wire, right? So I jumped back and we had a whole thing going on the other end as well. Shotgun dude came running up in my back. Like there was so much shit happening. But hey, GG man. I guess I got on the lucky end of this one. All in all, this was a really long engagement with a lot of downtime, where I also made a lot of mistakes, but sometimes you just have those kind of raids, I guess. All in all, I'm not really that happy with how this raid played out. There's too many small mistakes that add up. I suppose we got on the lucky end and made the most out of a bad situation, but I feel things really started to snowball after I made the initial mistake of misjudging the situation and jumping the barbed wire. We slowly got back control over the situation after we disengaged, but there was also a lot of luck in play. And without the level 5 armored rig, we definitely would have died to the shotgun dude. This one is a lot faster, where I clearly have a bit of a better day in Tarkov. We play smart and let the enemy fall into our ambush. Like before, use sound to your advantage. And if you are running and jumping around the resort, prepare to get hosed. Take note of my positioning here. We know this guy is running up towards us. So, if we stay in this exact position and hold this angle, notice how small our working area is when he comes around the corner. He would have a lot of options to fall back into cover. So we reposition slightly and let him come. Just like this. With only a minor adjustment in position, we massively increase our working area. We improve our odds big time and make this engagement a lot easier for ourselves. So when this guy comes, he will have nowhere to run. Uh-oh, bad habit alert. Reloading around corners. Kevin, you should know better, man. Of course this guy has a teammate and he's right there. Luckily he misses the shot and I suppose I at least don't make the mistake of re-peeking the same angle. So we toss the grenade to distract and we flank. Of course there's a second. Watch how super eager I get to take the shot despite the fact that he's not even aware of our relocation. Another mistake on me. This would have been a really clean 2v1 if it were not for this mishap. Oh yeah, and this wooden beam is apparently bulletproof. This nade toss is extremely stupid. Don't throw nades in an active firefight unless you are behind cover. Literally, the only reason we survived this is, again, because we are wearing level 5 body armor. Before we move to the next clip, this is what my backpack looked like afterwards. But we lost it later when we got pinned down between a group of AI scavs and another group of player scavs. Welcome to Tarkov. To close off, here's an actual good clip this time around. They are very scarce. By paying a little attention and landing a lucky hit, we kill 3 dudes on the shoreline. The initial spawn rush is always a thing on most of the maps. Hopefully in the future we'll get dynamic PMC spawns, so this is no longer a thing. And dynamic item spawns as well. But currently on the shoreline the majority will spawn in and rush towards the resort. I love the fights in the resort, so that's what I'm doing as well. When we meet this dude, who I think is heading the other way because he's on a quest, or maybe he's a tourist and wants to explore the lands. Who knows. Anyway, so I start blasting. Painkiller as always. We want to try and stay below the hill to conceal movement as best as possible and reposition slightly while we keep him at bay with nades. Not sure if he died. I thought I heard him like, ugh. And then we confirmed the kill. We have been very noisy and there can still be people coming from the south towards the resort who were already on the way and now attracted by the gunfire. So instead of diving on the loot instantly, we keep an eye on the horizon. No, he did not die from the MPX, maybe Nate, yeah. I don't know what it was. There's another dude in the distance there. It's almost impossible to make out on the video, but I spotted another guy coming up way in the distance. So we fell back behind our little hill to do some emergency prepping. I know we have a little time before these guys cover all the distance and make it up here, but time is still of the essence. For those watching that don't know this yet, here's a little pro tip that streamers don't want you to know. You can repack and heal at the same time if you heal first and then repack during the healing animation. It will not work the other way around. This is around the time where I feel they would have made it up. This is pure guesstimation, but it's always nice to see when it does actually work out. We don't have a lot of cover to play with here and the first guy goes down from a headshot pretty quickly. But we'll still do anything we can, no matter how small of a detail it might be, to give them a hard time. This includes reloading behind the hill. I know. Oh. Anyway, because of popular demand, here's the loot from the last fight. I suppose this entry, overall, is maybe more of a how to deal with your own mistakes. And why you should always be wearing quality armor. I highly recommend everybody to run the best armor you can get your hands on. Having more armor will allow you more room to make more mistakes. You will have a little bit more leeway because you can just be that little more tanky. But don't expect too much of it. In my own experience though, it's very unlikely to get out of a fight without taking a single hit. Unless you go unnoticed and can ambush effectively. But this is not always the way that things go in Tarkov. Anyway, if you're still around at this point, consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for more EFT. Drop a follow on the Twitch, ring the bell, do a little dance, leave a comment, clap your hands and someone else's cheeks. See ya!